These are strange times. I've never, and I'm sure this goes for many of us, but I've never seen the world change so much so quickly. One day you're hearing about this virus that is very much, for lack of a better term, someone else's problem. And don't get me wrong, of course you're worried and you're super sympathetic for those who are affected, but it's literally half a world away. And then seemingly overnight it's right at your doorstep and everything changes. I had been planning on visiting Galaxyland to capture some footage for another Hasbro update, but it closed. And the same goes for the World Water Park and all of the other mall attractions. It seems like yesterday I was walking around the mall without a worry in my mind. And in fact, I only visited the mall recently because I needed some toilet paper. I had it all planned out in my mind. I would enter the mall, and even though I was told they're not super affected, I would put on my mask and hit up London Drugs, grab a pack of what I was told was a limited supply of toilet paper, and I would do my best to keep away from the crowds. It turns out the crowds weren't going to be a problem. Although this looks and feels like West Edmonton Mall does when I've stayed at the Fantasyland Hotel and ventured into the mall late at night, this was within the stated operating hours. What we're seeing here is the mall open. And while a few stores were open, like London Drugs and T&T Supermarket, storefront after storefront displayed sheets of paper letting what few customers might come by know that the retailers were closed until further notice. You know, I've made quite a name for myself by just talking about all the cool stuff that the mall used to have, and about how much I love West Edmonton Mall in general. But as of right now, I have to talk about when the mall used to have, well, attractions. I mean, I get it, they're still operational, but seeing everything closed, I can't really put into words what seeing the mall like this makes me feel. The lights are on, the music's playing, the fountains are going, and sure, there are a few stores open, but we're all experiencing this first event in modern history where everything is shutting down on such a grand scale. And I'm not here to really just gawk at an empty mall. God knows there are enough videos on YouTube that do that. Although the atmosphere is an arguably eerie feeling, for me, this is just a perfect illustration of how quickly things have changed for everyone. The mall has always held a special place in my heart. I've grown up here, and it's been an undeniable part of my life. One of my first memories in general was my dad talking about how he had to go try the laser maze for the very first time. I couldn't have been more than 3 or 4 years old, but I vividly remember my dad speaking the phrase, "The mall has the laser maze," and then some very vague memories of standing in line for it. What I'm trying to say is that the mall has always been one of those things in my life that, while many things have come and gone within it, the mall itself has really just always been there. On virtually any day, if I was bored, I could go for a swim in the wave pool or hit some water slides. I could grab a ride on the Galaxy Orbiter or just get some popcorn and hit up a movie. And then all of that is gone. I mean, it's still physically there, but it's not available to us. Look, we all have something. For me, it's the mall. But for every one of us, it's something that, when all of our lives have been turned upside down, is just gone. A seemingly simple pleasure like hanging out with friends or grabbing lunch at your favorite joint, it's such a foreign concept right now. I was only there because I got word it was one of the few places where I can get my hands on some toilet paper. It's very likely that I'm not going to be back at the mall until all of this blows over, and who knows when that will be.
I'm on the wrong side of the fence.
So, why now? Why, after all this time, did I decide to finally release this video footage? Why, when, back then, I felt so strongly against it that I pulled the plug on its release? And I considered changing the original narration that I recorded for that footage, but at the time, it's how I really felt. And it's not like West Edmonton Mall was the only mall to close down. They all did. But the snapshot of this event that we'd never experienced before, preserving what it was like and how it genuinely made me feel, well, it was important to me to preserve a piece of that. But I didn't answer the question, did I? Why did I decide to release it now? Well, it's because the mall is opening again. For the first time in over 2 months, I was back at West Edmonton Mall. And even though only some stores are open, I admit I had a really great day. Look, we all have to be careful, and we all have to do our best to stay safe. But between the hand sanitizer at every door, the constant wiping down of surfaces, the one-way traffic, and, for the most part, people following proper social distancing behavior, they actually made it feel quite comfortable being out and about again. Now, there weren't a ton of people out, but there were a couple places where it felt almost busy. And seeing these stores getting business again, well, it gave me a really good feeling. There were lineups with social distancing markers on the floor throughout the mall. And while I do miss these attractions, I know they'll open up sooner or later. And I just can't wait for that. I've got a Hasbro update that I need to do, but I do need to see it first. And so, I think I'll leave you with the closing words from my original video, because I think they still apply 2 months later.
So, when you're suffering from cabin fever, take a breath and think back. Remember the swing of the century and the mind bender. Remember the water slides and the Blue Thunder wave pool. Remember the Ice Palace, mini golf, both glow and classic, and the bronze statues. Remember the zip lines, and remember just grabbing a burger and a drink while hanging out with friends. Remember all the things that are waiting for us on the other side of this. And remember that while we're staying at least 6 feet apart, in fact, we are all in this together. Remember, we can do this. Stay safe, everyone.